Hello, and welcome to Why Make, the podcast where we talk with artists about why they make, with me, your host, Eric Wolkin. If you'd like to learn more about Why Make, please go to our website, why-make.com. Also, please consider supporting the Why Make podcast by again going to whymake.com and clicking the donate button. All donations are tax deductible through our fiscal sponsor, Fractured Atlas. And this, the last episode of 2024, we have a special treat, the first of our many recorded interviews from the Emma International collaboration, which took place in the summer of 2024. This is the third episode so far about Emma, the first two being What is Emma and Impressions of Emma. Why Make was invited to the 2024 edition of the collaboration to, in essence, document and participate in this playground of making. Think 100 adults tapping into their inner child, given a workshop, tools, and a junk pile of raw materials, all in the wilds of northern Saskatchewan. And you have Emma, the only rules being make stuff with someone else. In other words, collaborate. Michael Hosulak, this episode's guest, is the brainchild behind Emma. It grew out of a wood-turning conference he organized some 40-odd years ago, but don't expect Michael to take any credit for being its founder. He is a deep believer in the collaborative process, and he'll tell you that Emma was begun as a group effort. I met Michael, who everyone calls Mikey, on the front porch of Craig Campbell's home on the Ness Creek site. Craig is the coordinator of the metals area at Emma, an accomplished blacksmith and full-time resident at Ness Creek, and also the subject of an interview yet to come. And he so graciously offered his front porch for all our interviews, providing shelter from the mayhem of chainsaws, banging hammers, and table saws. That is the heart of Emma.
Michael Hosulak, welcome to Why Make It Emma. You started Emma. This is, you and a handful of other people, but this is your beast.
Yeah, I guess we conceived it, but it's a series of events that comes to something like this. And then once you have this concept and idea and you get them all together and I think Gord Peterin put it quite well. He says, well, what the hell's going on? And that was, Emma was made by everyone because it wouldn't have worked if, everyone didn't drink the Kool-Aid, so to speak, and it just developed into its own entity that it fed everyone, and it just, went out sent this ripple around the world that connected people in a way. It was a way to exchange knowledge with each other and friendship and creativity and just, it'd send you back to your studio rejuvenated.
So this started as just a straight up wood turning conference, like 30, 40 years ago?
For 82, we had wood turning conferences, and then every 2 years it'd be furniture, wood turning. And I would just, it was sort of like I wanted to learn from everyone. So I crafted my own education. I'd just invite anyone in the world to come to Saskatoon. And there was never a hesitation. They said yes, and then they realized, where am I going? They didn't, it's in the middle of nowhere. And, but then it was so much camaraderie that happened amongst each of us that we wanted more. And, so I thought, wouldn't it be great to pull together all your friends, find all the creative people you met out there and the creative people in the audience too, who never get to share their knowledge, because they have so much of it. And so it was like to have fun, creative, and have some skills, but you could come there without never doing woodwork or never doing metalwork or furniture making, as long as, you had that desire, that energy to want to learn and try new stuff. Yeah, it's turned into quite something that, you come here, I haven't been for a while, and then you get that feedback of how it changed my life. And and it's equal, they pour out their feelings and thoughts to me, but in turn it's the same for me with them, that we all have nurtured each other and tried new stuff together. And if it wasn't that equal sharing, it wouldn't be what it is.
It's a wonderful mayhem is what it is.
Yeah.
It's the most organized, disorganized place I've ever been in my life.
Chaos, you can't live without it. And it just creates an entity that no other thing can. It's hard to explain, but you strip away all, like what I did is, because I used to do organized conference, I stripped away everything that I used to do and threw away any format, and that's what we used.
People often ask me, what does Emma stand for? And I say, I think it originally happened at a place called Emma Lake.
Yeah.
And that was a part of the University of Saskatchewan.
Kinderdine campus, and it has a rich history back into the 50s when Barnett Newman and Nick Cage and all these artists would come from around the world and get together and do art. And they were a wild bunch. What was it? Where the hell is Saskatchewan and who is Emma Lake? That was a slogan they used. They did the same in other media as we are doing. And without us knowing really that, I didn't know that origin when I started. I just knew that that place would be conducive for creativity. And it was quite primitive. There was hardly any power, but that didn't matter. It was the energy from people that mattered.
And then it moved to the Ness Creek site eventually.
Because they kicked us out.
You were having too much fun.
Too much fun, and we were out of hand. We were well behaved for what we were compared to others, I thought. But that made no difference. I think things happen for a reason, and the fit here is amazing. The people who live here and run this place just was a perfect fit.
You have an interesting role here. I've heard many stories that if you're wandering around, don't look Michael in the eye. Because he's going to take your idea and twist it and go, what if? So you still have a role to this day as chief instigator, because in fact, my very first Emma experience, Jason Ramy, I think he found this box that had all these different sections in it. And we were talking about how we each were going to take a section for this box.
Right.
And then somehow Jason made the mistake of looking you in the eye, and you said, well, what if it spins?
Oh, yeah.
What if it spins? And this piece is now, I refer to it as the beast. I refer to it as the beast because I remember that first night, Wednesday night, after you had made that comment, at midnight, Jason and Joshua Ank were actually looking at a book of wooden gears, and we're sitting there with a bloody compass trying to plan out a wooden gear to make this box spin. Well, and now there are many gears, and this box is spinning out of control. And this is because of, you said,
one little suggestion.
One little suggestion.
Yeah. I'm guilty as charged. I can't help myself. If you see an idea that could develop into something else or be greater than or have an interesting new element. And sometimes it does take you into a whole another journey.
The beast's humble beginnings were as a part of what may have been a small lidded box, roughly 12 inches wide by 17, and divided into 6 unequal sections. Rumor was the box had been kicking around in the junk pile for many years, and perhaps its origins was Mikey's childhood home. And Mikey's suggestion that it spin translated into some kind of kinetic activity taking place in every section of the box.
I originally thought, simplistically enough, it was just going to crank and things were going to move in one direction.
Right.
Now things are moving up and down, in and out. There are pulleys now attached. There are pulleys attached to the shaft, which is attached to the gears, and it's this wonderful, out of control creation.
It is. I can't wait to see its outcome because we have no idea now. See, before we could have visualized, oh, nice here, nice there, this one there, that one there, and done. Real easy. And wouldn't have to think too much. And now they're going to be working right up until the very last day, until they'll still
The last bloody second.
exactly. And but that's the fun of this.
The Beast did, in fact, go to the wire to get finished and was finally named Hit the Bunny for reasons you will see by watching the short video of the crankbox in motion on this episode's webpage on why-make.com.
We're working on a map right now.
I don't understand this map. I've seen it's
It's a map of Emma. That's what happens when you go for cocktail hour.
I want to tell you about Cocktail Hour at Emma. Like much of the anarchy that is Emma, it takes place roughly in the afternoon, but at no specific time, in the far corner of the blacksmithing area where there is a rough collection of seating gathered around an old cabinet-style TV whose guts have been removed, and Adrian Legge, a blacksmith from the UK and longtime Emma attendee, is the chief instigator. So this map Mikey is talking about, which I found out about in greater depth later, is a map of all the Emma-inspired gatherings around the world, and it is in fact based on Polynesian stick maps from thousands of years ago. University of Hawaii article entitled Traditional Ways of Knowing states Polynesians navigated the oceans using stick charts that identified patterns in ocean conditions such as swells and waves or winds and also islands, and they were meant to be used and interpreted by the navigator who constructed them. And also it's believed the maps were not brought on trips but rather memorized beforehand.
Part of the beauty of Emma is seeing these things that you would never conceive and just wondering how they go together. And I'm seeing people, Rob included, whittling sticks on end. And when I hear it's going to be part of a map, I have no idea of how to...
We don't neither, but it's the story you can tell somehow.
It's a pile of whittled sticks.
So far, no, it's a pile of potential journeys and travel is what it is, the way we see it. And but it is sticks, yes.
I didn't mean to be dismissive.
I know you didn't.
I know it's wonderment because I'm like,
Yeah.
How do these sticks become a map?
Well,
and
we're
that
gonna
is the
see.
beauty.
We will see. It's just like the parts that move. We don't know where that journey's going to end and how it's going to end. And these sticks are the same thing. It's one thing to put a block of wood on the lathe and you know it's going to be this shape and you're going to turn it and you know the result from beginning to end. The sticks, finding them together, that's part of the journey. And we had to find the sticks that tell the story. And now they're back here and we just had to, there was no rhyme or reason why we were peeling them. We just knew we had to. And it's like this force that you have no control over. And the idea, the seeds planted, and you help it grow, and then you bring it into fruition, into some visual piece, because it's all within us. We've made this journey here, and Emma has sent this ripple throughout the world, and we're going to map it. We're going to map that energy to each site with those sticks.
To each of the Emmas, the
well,
Emma in New
that's
Zealand,
one-
the Emma in Hawaii, the Emma in Oregon.
Yeah, that was our first concept. Is if someone held up this map, and we could make our way to that Emma, and they would have them on there on this map, and who's going to understand it? I don't know. Emmanites, maybe.
Ammonites. Oh, this is
Or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, I love that.
And
Ammonites.
if you handed it to a person who's been to Emma and said, "Oh, here's our map," and they possibly could understand each location and journey. And a lot of them have made every one of them.
Hopefully there's room in this map that the whole world can become Emma.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thought. I keep on calling this over and over again. Why should this just be 1 week every 2 years?
Yeah. Well, it isn't. You can go to Hawaii. You can go to New Zealand. You can go to France. You can create your own little pocket anywhere. The nice thing about it is that when you're alone in your studio, you aren't alone because you have that vast resource if you wanted to tap into it, but then you have the vast experience and of you interacting with all those people. And I know people come up and they say, well, what would Mikey do? Or, and then I could take it and say, I wonder what Adrian would do, when because all of us have this way to MacGyver things and jump in and solve that. There's no idea that can't be carried forward in some kind of resolve or a way to find it. And maybe that's what that map's about too, is that we can map our way in our own lives too.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thought. Well, I appreciate you really sitting down and talking with me, Michael. I realize you have to go and
map out the journey.
You have to map out the journey, but not only that, you have to look somebody square in the face and go, maybe that should spin. Maybe, well, the possibility.
Don't worry, it doesn't ever.
Nobody will look you in the eye anymore.
Well,
everybody's afraid of you.
Or those that are fearless. And they look me in the eye and they throw the challenge.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
It works both ways.
Oh.
And then I have to think, and then they put me to work. And but I love that part of it, much as any of it.
I really appreciate the fact that you guys invited us up here to do this silly little thing and try and document this insane piece of beauty.
Well, it's going to be a real challenge for you because to bring that energy of what happens here into the world and for people to understand it and even get a grasp of what that is will be a real challenge for you. It's like me with the sticks.
It is going to be a real challenge to put together 30, 40 different conversations about 30 or 40 different pieces and have it make sense. But hopefully you'll listen to it 6 months from now and go, well, wouldn't it be cool if it spun?
So true.
Yeah, I never looked Mikey in the eye for the rest of my time at Emma. I was too confused and overwhelmed by the task at hand of trying to capture the essence of Emma to risk any further suggestions that might lead me astray. I was not fearless. It is, however, Mikey's contagious energy, his love of collaboration, and his irresistible urge to ask what if that drives Emma and keeps artists coming back for more. Again, thanks for listening, and why make? Why Make is a production of Rob Helmkamp and Eric Wolkin. Today's episode was edited with help from Johanna Zorn. Music for today's episode was Ornette by Justin Allen Arnold and is available from Breaking Copyright on YouTube.com.